Welcome to Bike World, welcome to Spain, welcome to the launch of Triumph's new Speed Twin 1200, Standard and RS.
How nice is this? So 2025 two Speed Twins RS, all in shock, Marzocchi forks, Brembo brakes, extra riding mode, quick shifter, sporty positioned bars, and the pegs further back. So it's kind of like a more aimed towards what the Thruxton was, which has been discontinued. And then this is the standard model. On the standard model, it's Marzocchi front and back, two rider modes, and more road focused tyres rather than the sporty tyres that's on the RS. This is nice, isn't it? We've got more power than before, so it's just more over rev basically. So it revs a bit higher, produces more power, torque is the same. We've got more electronics, so we've now got cornering ABS and cornering traction control. The ABS is constant, can't do anything with it, it's just on. And the traction changes depending on which mode you're in, which on the standard is a wet and a road, and on the RS you've got a sports mode. You can turn the traction off, or you can turn it on as well. ABS is just always on, that's it. But it is cornering ABS, which it didn't have before. There's lots of cosmetic styling tweaks, many of which I really like. The new fuel tank with this little sculpted bit is really nice. New filler cap, new clocks, new exhaust, really kind of minimal as well. They've really hidden all the electrical gubbins, and when you first look at it you don't think it's actually water cooled, it looks old school. The exhaust has got a beautiful natural flow to it, which is really difficult to do because of all the Euro 5 catalytic converters and all the crap that comes with it. And in terms of setup, the standard bike is slightly softer and more manageable than the RS. That's the theory. So because we're on the RS, I've got the additional sport mode, so I'm going to try that, and I've got a quick shifter. So yeah, I'll have a little play with the sport mode, the quick shifter. Nice MCS levers as well, got that nice far back. Yeah, very different. So out on the RS, sportier tyres, Brembo brakes, we've got fully adjustable Marzocchi. Wow, those brakes are a lot stronger. Straight away you feel that. Pegs are further back and higher, although I've not had a problem with ground clearance on the standard, which is interesting. Oh, it just turns easier, just a little bit more accurate. Another never-ending corner, back to second, close road.
So we've got the standard Speed Twin 1200. Both share the same frame, both share the same engine, but the engine has got 5 more horsepower. The way they've done that is just made it rev more. It's pretty simple. Give it more RPM, give it more power. Torque remains the same, but power just goes up 5 horsepower. In terms of electronics, we've now got cornering traction control and we've got cornering ABS. And as mentioned before, we've got an extra mode on the RS. In terms of styling, they both benefit from the same styling. So they've both got the same singular round clocks that have got Bluetooth connectivity should you want to make a call or listen to music whilst riding, God knows why. They've both got the same really nice attractive headlight, they've both got the same fuel tank, very similar seats, there's just the finish that is slightly different, and the seat is slightly higher on the RS just because it's raised up a little bit on its suspension. The detailing is really lovely. What Triumph have done for 2025 is kept it authentic, kept it retro, which is incredibly difficult to do, because when you design this exhaust, for example, that looks like it's one beautiful sweeping pipe made from the 1970s. But behind there are catalytic converters and lambda sensors, and it makes it incredibly difficult to make it look like that while still meeting Euro 5. We know it's got lean sensitive traction control. We know it's got lean sensitive ABS. So there are more sensors, more wiring, and IMU, and everything else is in there somewhere, but they've made it nice, neat, and it looks attractive. Even though these are air-cooled fins, it's not air-cooled, it's water-cooled, but the plumbing has been hidden and you can't really see all the pipe work, and it's really well done. And the finish is nice, the fuel cap is all brushed aluminium. It's a really top level, high level of finish, and they've done an incredible job of making it retro, but making it modern. In terms of cosmetically, there's little bits of differences like the brushed aluminium front mudguard, a standard on the standard model, and there's going to be a huge amount of accessories. Triumph tell us that 70% of their customers don't leave the showroom on a standard bike. They're throwing accessories on the bike, and you'll have a huge wide spectrum. There's a really interesting kind of cafe racer accessories package that they do that drops the bars to almost Thruxton-like and puts a single seat, because remember, the Thruxton, sadly, is no more. So we started the day on the standard bike. And to be honest, if you rode that bike and never rode the RS, you'd find very few faults with a standard bike. I think it's comfier than before, it's very plush, it's very soft, it's very much handling on the comfort side.
It's kind of easy to ride as well. I mean, it is a 1200, so you do think, but it's actually not that weighty.
The brakes are adequate, they're more than enough.
These roads just keep getting better. The only thing is now we're going downhill, you carry more weight into the corner, like it's this tight first gear hairpin, and now you need like 3 fingers on the lever because you're just rushing in a bit. The brakes are fine, but on the standard Triumph branded brakes, like 3 fingers, back to second, and we're not riding that fast. But yeah, it'd be interesting getting on the RS with the Brembo style lemmas.
The ground clearance is actually pretty impressive, and that extra little wallop of power towards the top of the rev range just makes it a little bit more exciting. When you start to ride it like we do at Bike World and you start to pop a few wheelies and have a little bit of fun, you kind of teeter towards the handling limitations. You need 4 fingers on the brake lever to really pull it up and make it stop. The suspension is soft and there's no adjustment on the front, only preload on the back, and it just starts to, doesn't get to the limitations, but you just know that you're getting close to what it's capable of doing. But then you are riding it like it was probably never designed to be ridden, and if you want something sporty, Triumph have got the RS, which we rode this afternoon, which I really love. The difference between the two, even though they share the same frame, they share the same power, they share the same torque, they share the same weight, there's a lot of similarities. It feels like a very different bike. You're much more of a racer stance, your feet are higher and further back, the bars are a bit lower. It makes it feel a bit more exciting, you've got more grip, it's much easier to flick between corners. The suspension doesn't sit between corners, it stays very, very stable, and the handling is excellent. I think when you go around town and on a few bumpy roads, the RS doesn't cope as well around town on the rough stuff as the softly sprung standard bike. But I would rather have the sporty handling over the soft handling any day. What's interesting on the RS is you have an extra mode, but it's still pretty basic. There's only 3 modes. There's no engine brake strategy, there's no launch control. You've got a standard quick shifter, and that's it. And sadly, the quick shifter can't be moved from the RS to the standard because there's just not enough room on the foot pegs, sadly. You can't trim the traction control either. So your traction control is in one of the 3 modes, or it's off. Some people will like that, some people won't. For me, I don't mind it switched off, and then you can just have endless wheelies and have some fun, which it does effortlessly. I think it's a really interesting bike. I think what Triumph have done is improved this category even further and given us an even wider choice when it comes to retro machines. I seem to be getting older and liking these bikes more and more. I can see people coming down from kind of street fighter-y, powerful 150 horsepower plus naked bikes and coming on this and being attracted to its retro kind of appeal and looks, but still having fun on it. It's still a fun bike, it's still enjoyable to ride. And I think there's also people coming the other way through the bikes from the 900 and coming up who are going to enjoy the standard bike. I honestly think the majority of people are going to be fine on the standard bike. I think majority of people who are buying a retro Triumph will be more than happy with a bike that you don't need suspension adjustment, with a bike that you don't need to change the traction control on. It's really good tyres that work all year round. I think the minority are going to go for the RS, because I don't think people are going to be wanting a sporty retro Triumph. But then I could be wrong, because the Thruxton was so popular, especially the RS, so maybe people are wanting this to fill the gap of that. And in orange, you can't get it on the standard bike, you can only get it on the RS. It does look great, and the quick shifter's good, and the extra mode's good, and the sporty handling's good. So it's going to be a difficult one. I think majority of people are going to be perfectly happy with a standard bike, but the just problem is, if you ride the standard bike, never ride that, because once you've ridden that, you won't want to ride that, because you'll want the quick shifter, you'll want the sporty handling, and you'll want the improved brakes. The second big question is, what's it going to be like against the competition? I've owned a BMW R12 9T, which has got the most convoluted, longest name of any bike possible, and really love it. And it's a retro, naked, looking, air-cooled, fun roadster, which, okay, these are water-cooled, but it's in similar competition. But is somebody who's looking at a BMW looking at a Triumph? Probably not. So maybe is it a Ducati Scrambler, the big one? Is it an XSR 900? Is it a Kawasaki? It's a difficult one to pigeonhole and where to put. But how it compares to the competition is a very difficult question to answer. But how it is as a bike for 2025 is an easy question to answer. I really like it. I would like this bike in my garage for those Sunday afternoons and summer evening rides where you just want to throw on a jacket and jeans, look cool, have some fun and have some ride. There's quite a lot of bikes that make you look good and feel good and look, you know, have that retro appeal, but not many can deliver and have punch and real world ability and have the handling as well to back it up, which the RS does. So it's a big thumbs up from Southern Spain. It's a big, I want to go on the RS again. I think it's even capable of tearing it up on a track. Turning up on a track day on an RS and embarrassing a few sports bikes might be slightly amusing. But if you've got any further questions about both bikes, tech specs, or what you want us to do with both bikes, please fire some questions below. Don't forget to click subscribe, and I'll see you in Spain in a few weeks' time.
It really so smoothly. There's so much torque, it just crawls up the rear sprocket like a seal trying to get onto a rock. Just